Report pairs are what you see on a sporting course way more than troop pairs, right?
Yeah, it's your normal sort of 100 sporting course going to make up 80% of the presentation of targets you see.
And the key to this is the transition between targets is often what messes people up.
Yeah, because obviously as we, if we're first up on a stand, we look at a pair of targets, we see them as individual targets. So we see the A bird followed by the B bird and so on. And then when we come to shoot them, you call pull for the first target, and on the bang of your gun, the second target's then released. And that's your on report pair. The main thing here we're looking for, Jonny, is we're going to see hold points and pick up points for the first target, okay? And then once we've killed that first target, the transition from that kill point to our hold point for the second target. Obviously important where the gun goes. Main important thing is where our eyes go. We want our eyes back to pick that target up so we see it coming into the gun, and then we can make a move from there.
And that's that all-important transition.
Exactly that, and it's having that plan of, once we've shot that first target, where do I need to go for the second target to get set up, to pick it up at exactly the right place so I know where it's going to be. If we haven't got that plan, then often you'll see people, they look really rushed and really erratic and look like they have no time because they haven't planned before they've come into the station to shoot the targets.
With troop pairs we discussed, it is one move from one to the next.
Yep.
With a report pair, is there more of a mental break between the two targets?
I would say so, yeah. Obviously, it's still sort of kind of one process, but obviously we're going to kill the first target and then we're going to almost reset again and then ready for the second target. It is almost two separate steps, as it were.
And as a target setter, you would usually put two very different tempo targets on so that you have to change the way you shoot between targets.
100%. So what you're trying to catch people out is not necessarily with sort of big targets and distance, anyone can do that, but it's speed and angles which are going to catch people out. So you might go from your first target being very slow to your second one being very fast, or vice versa, or going from up high to very low. And that's the sort of things as a shooter you want to be looking out for, because that's what the target setter and the course setter is the traps they're trying to get you to fall into. So you want to sort of plan and think, well, I might go really low here and then up high here. As we'll look at this pair in a second, you'll see we're going to shoot quite a high crosser up from left to right, and then we're going to come down to a low incoming target. So we've got sort of quite a big transition there from high to low. The other things we're going to look out for obviously is feet positioning. So whether we're shooting something extreme left and then something extreme right, or vice versa. So therefore, as we've spoken before, Jonny, about our feet positioning, we can catch people out by maybe shooting a target here and then trying to shoot another target here. So if they don't move their feet, all of a sudden we're really tangled up and we come offline, right? Okay. So it's those sorts of little things we're going to look out for.
All right, let's go.
We'll have a play and see how we get on.
Well,
so the first bird's that left to right crosser, the second target's that incoming target.
the first one's the hard one.
Exactly that. So when we look at it as a setup point, we want our shoulders nice and square obviously to our kill points. I'd say the second target we can pretty much kill with our feet in any sort of position because it's coming straight at us.
Not requiring a lot of movement.
Yeah, our shoulders are going to be fairly square there wherever we stand. So left to right bird, obviously as a right hander, we're going to open that left foot round so we can make sure we can get through to our kill point how we want to, and then we can just drop down for the incomer and go from there.
Again, mental break, tempo change, slow into the second target.
Again, the big thing is between the shots, we want to make sure the gun and our eyes are completely separate, as they should be most of the time anyway. So we want to make sure as soon as we kill that first target, our eyes are back to our pickup point for the second target, guns at the hold point to watch that target come in.
It's two single processes. Let's go.
Let's give it a go.
Well, nervous.
He's nervous.
Nervous.
Let's try not to spend too long with that second target. The longer we spend with it, the more likely we are to carry on the gun moving and end up out on front.
And shoot its front edge off, as I just did.
Yeah, so let's hold out there. As we've touched on incoming targets before, let's hold out there. Let the clay do the work to you, and then it's just a small move. Exactly that. And that's the beauty of having a shot cam on there, is what we just talked about there about holding out and making that shorter move. That will be highlighted on there straight away. So when we look at the sort of first one we shot there, you'll see how early you got the gun connected with the target and spent a long time with it. Yes, we killed it right on the front edge, but it's very easy then to go out on the front of it because it doesn't want any lead. So we can easily see that on there, the point the gun and the target connected.
It's not just about seeing your hold points on the first target from years of using these things. Quite often the transition is sloppy, and I use this as a tool to train to pay a bit more attention about where the gun and my eyes fall for the second target, as opposed to just dropping it up in the air or disconnecting from the gun completely.
Yeah, and as a rule, it's very easy. When we look at this as a pair of targets, like the first bird obviously is the harder target, right? So we think, right, okay, I want to get this first one shot. I've got that killed, and it's like, right, I've got it killed. And then we're so sort of wound up to shoot the incomer, and it's very easy to drop one of those. There's no point hitting all those hard ones and missing a couple of the easy ones.
Yeah, if you're walking in this stand, it's the second one you should walk out with 4 of, and the first one you'd be happy with 3.
So we need to put the same respect into that second bird as we do the first bird. And, you know, the majority of on-report pairs you'll see on most stations tend to be, you know, slightly harder target, slightly easier target, or one you've got to work at a little bit more than the other, right? So, yeah, so same respect on both, you know, really sort of pay attention to those hold points, kill points, pickup points. Have that plan in place so you know exactly what you're doing through those 3 or 4 pairs, 5 pairs even on that station.
Certainly a personal sin is once you've shot 3 of your report pairs and get in the 4th, you get so complacent on the last one.
You think you've got it done, yeah.
Yeah, everything needs respect, and that's something that I'm learning as we go.
Obviously, this station's been set up to shoot that A bird is left to right cross of the B bird's the incomer. Relatively straightforward,
yeah,
right?
Simple transition, right? Because you've got so much time on the second.
Yeah, and the harder target, as it were, you're deciding when it comes, right? So you're set up, you can get everything nice and relaxed and nice and comfortable, and then you call pull, you know when the target's coming. Just for a bit of fun, we're actually going to switch the pairs around. So we're now going to shoot the incoming target first, and then we'll transition to the left to right crosser. So
faster transition, much more dedicated. I move into the space to create.
So we're going from sort of high and fast to slow and low. And then we're going to flip it around. So you're going to shoot your slow, low incomer first, and then you've got quite a quick transition to a very decent hold point for that fast crossing target going left to right. So here the main thing is a trap we don't want to fall into, especially when we've got faster report birds, is we don't want to think, oh, I want to stay out in front to sort of be on the right side of the clay to start off with. Very easy to get caught out. You jump the target, there's no connection there.
It's in the air, so you just go space bang.
Exactly that. And that's something that, particularly with this, you can see straight away, because you'll notice the clay hasn't got to the gun.
Yeah, and as we've discussed many times, what you do and what you think you do can be very different.
Exactly that. So we're going to make sure here, Jonny, one thing I'd sort of say as you come into the station now, we're going to shoot the incoming target first is, again, feet work and shoulders, same sort of setup. Shoot the first target exactly as we've done before, but don't be scared about coming back far enough for that second target, yeah? Then we know it's beating the gun, then we can accelerate through it. What we don't want to do is shoot the incomer, hold out really far, and then the clay may not meet the gun and we're already at our kill point. And then we just end up guessing and sort of poking out in front of it. All right, so let's have a look at it. I'll be kind. We'll show you the other way around. Shoot the incomer first.
Bang.
And then we've got a quicker bird that way.
Yeah, you do need to make that left hand move.
Exactly.
Right?
So it's very easy. The gun is, once you've shot the first bird, the gun is the wrong side of the clay, if that makes sense. Yeah. We're already on the right hand side of it. So let's just make sure we either hold or we come back slightly to make sure it gets to us, and then we can go.
Attempting to take a diminishing lead or maintain lead shot, as we've established, isn't often the best choice.
Will work, but it's likely that there is less margin for error doing it that way. You know, we're more likely to not have a connection and be guessy. If our timing becomes spot on, we can get away with it. But we're trying to find...
And some days you feel it, right? I know personally, some days you just know you can get away with a bit more maintained lead because your timing is on
and
the
then
ball.
At the same time, when your timing is really good, you'll be able to come off the back of everything and nail everything because your timing is absolutely spot on. So it is very much a confidence thing, how you're feeling, you know, being confident to shoot that way. And like I say, we're going to make sure we shoot the first one and just come back to the second one through the gun and then go and let the left hand do the work.
Perfect.
Okay. Good move. And you can see there, it's just, as soon as we shot the income, a really controlled gun, bang, straight to that hold point, clay's got you and then you've gone.
Comes back to what you were saying before, confidence. Confidence that you can move that gun quickly to the right point.
Yeah.
And make the move.
Exactly, and the key thing is we make that quick transition to hold points, and then we're always going to make it another shot, right? We're not just quick transition to hold point, then quick transition into the shot straight away, because then we're going to end up probably out in front because we've got no connection with the target. So we've got to have the confidence to say quick transition and wait for the target to get to us and then go.
One thing I'm noticing about the Mini, certainly on a pair like this without hard transition, is that lack of weight really allows the same speed of move that I would usually make.